Hey guys, we just got back from watching Drag Me to Hell over at Downtown Disney, and we're just going to give you a few thoughts.
Y'all gonna ask us later. Anyway,
Yeah.
So we decided, hey, let's do you a service and put it on the internet for even more people than we know to enjoy.
Absolutely. So Mike, what did you think of Drag Me to Hell?
All right. I like Sam Raimi. But lately I've been on the fence about the guy because
Well, he did give us Spider-Man 3.
he did give Spider-Man 3, so that's kind of points against him. I didn't like Spider-Man 3, and Sam Raimi as a director has been kind of tiring me in the whole Spider-Man over-the-top thing. But what Sam Raimi does well is that he makes a good horror flick, and not necessarily horror. If anybody's seen Evil Dead, he knows he's making a genre film. He knows he's making a genre film, and he's smart. And for me, he's smart enough to not take it as seriously as everybody else.
Yeah, and with this film, he kind of teeter-totters on just kind of a serious horror film, but he definitely has his slapstick kind of humor that is pretty prevalent in this one, just like any of the Evil Dead films. The only problem that I kind of had with it is that it almost seemed like it was just recycled gags from the Evil Dead series. There was nothing really too original to it. Lots of eyeballs flying around and slime and things like that. So I didn't feel like I was seeing anything that Sam Raimi was bringing new to the table. It was just a lot of old familiar gags, even down to some of the sound effects for the supernatural stuff that was going on. It sounded like it was pulled straight from the Evil Dead films. And I know a lot of you people are going to go, hey, I love Evil Dead. I love Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, all of those. But I was kind of expecting a little bit more. I'm definitely okay with Sam Raimi getting back to his roots, but I want a little bit more out of Sam Raimi as a director, from where he's come.
The thing for me is that while Sam Raimi I watched the movie and I saw I was waiting for all the old Sam Raimi tricks. The crazy makeup effects, crazy monsters, people screaming ridiculously. Crazy gross out humor like that. I feel that that's kind of been something that's distinctly lacking in kind of American horror cinema. So I think for those who know Sam Raimi, they're going to see all his old tricks, and they're all going to know, oh yeah, I've seen it before. Oh, that's Evil Dead and whatever. Those who don't know Sam Raimi that well will all find it new and surprising and all that good stuff. That being said, it's not really. If you go into it expecting a super super dark horror flick that's going to scare the shit out of you, and you're gonna, I don't know, you're gonna get a lot of laughs, and you might not be expecting that, and so it's might throw off some audiences. They might say this is a sucky movie. You might not like it. I don't know. I personally enjoyed it.
The film was enjoyable. It was definitely, I wouldn't rank it as the top 5 movies that I found most enjoyable so far this year. But, it did have its enjoyable parts. It's just, for me, it seemed like it was trying to be a little bit more serious with the slapstick humor as well, but even the slapstick humor kind of seemed to be taking itself a little bit seriously as well. So that kind of threw me off. Like I said, I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. I just kind of felt that this movie for him was just, and me as a viewer, I didn't enjoy it as much as other films by Sam Raimi. So
I get that. If also kind of looking back at old Sam Raimi's kind of body of work, if you look at the genre pieces he's done before, you look at obviously, well, you know what? Don't look at any genre pieces that he's done. Just look at the Evil Dead series. We're going to talk about the Evil Dead series because that's the last horror flick he did 16-something years ago was Army of Darkness. That's what he does. Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness was always kind of billed to me as a horror comedy, or a horror flick with comedy elements in it.
It was like for me, it was always a comedic horror film. Like, comedy was always the first thing that I always thought of with Evil Dead. It was like just a funny horror flick that was just over the top. And I think that was my issue with this, is that it was like the other way around.
It was supposed to be a straight up kind of horror. It was
Horror.
billed as a horror flick. It was never billed as a silly flick. I mean,
Right.
if you look at a poster for Army of Darkness, it's a guy with a chance on his arm, you know, with a beautiful chick on his leg.
Yeah.
He's got a tiny miniature him trying to stab him in the foot.
Yeah, it's very kind of those cheesy romance novels. However, this one, it almost seemed like if they wanted to edit out all the slapstick humor, you'd maybe have a pretty decent horror film just without all that. So I think the humor was... It just threw me off. It kind of took me out of the whole storytelling aspect that they were trying to get out of it. So I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of resistance from folks, but personally, I was kind of sitting there through the theater, just wondering if I was just watching a really demented Looney Tunes episode. There were a lot of just eyes popping out and just...
Spoilers for everybody who had, like...
Yeah.
You'll see him.
It's Sam Raimi. I mean,
him
come on.
in.
You're going to expect some eyeballs to fly somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
But I would say I was a little less... I enjoyed it a little less than I thought I was going to. I don't know how you did. Did you,
well, you mean,
was it more
you
or less?
You heard me in the theater kind of going, oh.
Yeah.
But I wasn't obviously like I had a few jumps. I mean, so I was into it and I enjoyed it. So, but I'm also kind of a sucker for those. You know, I like a good, you know, fun horror flick. So, I gotta say, if we're gonna give it like let's give it a scale here. Let's give it a scale. This is like our first kind of video review to you.
Sure.
The internets.
So how are we going to scale? Are we going to do 5 stars? Are we going to do see it in the theater, see it at home?
Yeah.
Download.
We're borrowing from Spill.com. We're gonna go full price, matinee, rental, some old bullshit.
Yeah. Go ahead and give your...
I would say it's a high matinee for me. It's a high matinee, low full price. I could see this being as a fun movie to take a group of people to go to, like on Friday night. But, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably, for me, it's going to be either a very low matinee to rent it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I have other films by Sam Raimi of the same type of genre. So I very well could have rented this movie and been okay with spending the $4 or $5 to rent it.
Sorry that I dragged you to drag me to hell.
You dragged me to drag me to hell. So no, I did enjoy it, just not as much. So my vote's going to be rent it. If someone happens to have a copy, however they get their copies, watch it. But I wouldn't pay full price to see this movie in a theater. So rent it or matinee.
But like if you want to average it out, go matinee.
Matinee. There you go.
Matinee.
Rent it, full price, matinee. Just do matinee. Don't pay full price. So that's all we have to say about Drag Me to Hell. Anything else? We good?
This is just extra stuff. In the posters and publicity photos, that Allison chick looks tore up.
She does look tore up.
But there are moments where she's kind of cute.
There were some moments, but there were also some moments where she still looked pretty tore up. So.
Well, I think she looked tore up where she needs to look tore up. And
the
little moment where she goes in a little yellow dress, she's cute.
Yellow dress, she was cute. But there were some other things where she wasn't as cute. So.
And spoiler alert: Sam Raimi, being a Sam Raimi film, no Bruce Campbell.
No Bruce Campbell. I was waiting for a cameo or something.
I didn't see Ted,
Yeah.
but Ted's in there apparently.
But Ted is in there, and for you hardcore Evil Dead fans, this is again another small spoiler. If you guys are Evil Dead fans, you'll definitely recognize the car that was used in both Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2, and I believe in Army of Darkness at the very beginning. The actual car is
Sam Raimi classic.
The classic car from
you
the
can't
Evil
kill
Dead
the
film.
classic.
Yeah, so keep your eyes open. first glance you don't really go, oh, that's that car. But then you see it again and you go, yeah, I remember that car well. So that's all for us. Stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to be posting a lot more of these. So
Sorry.
thanks for watching. Bye.